Welcome back to Next Gen Console Watch, our show following everything happening with the latest gaming hardware. I'm Daemon Hatfield. This week I'm joined by Ryan McCaffrey, host of IGN's Xbox podcast, Podcast Unlocked.
Feeling good, Daemon.
I bet you are. And Max Scoville, host of IGN's PlayStation podcast, Podcast Beyond.
Feeling okay, Daemon.
And we are now on the other side of the big summer showcases from both PlayStation and Xbox. Time to compare the two, although we find ourselves in a situation that we haven't been in a long time, where everybody seems to unanimously agree that Xbox had a far better showcase this time around. We actually ran polls on IGN.com, on our Twitter, and on YouTube. Across the board, on IGN, 80% said Xbox had the better show. On Twitter, 82% said Xbox had the better show. On YouTube, 77% said Xbox had the better show. There doesn't seem to be much of a discussion there. Ryan, I don't think since the Xbox 360 days have we seen a showcase as strong. And even back then, I don't think sentiment was that far leaning Xbox when we've been around E3 time in those days. You've called this the best Xbox conference ever. You still think that's true?
I do. Yeah, I really do. And not just because of the context around it, that there's been some, genuinely negative sentiment around the Xbox brand between the multi-platform experiment that is not sitting well with some Xbox fans, and then more seriously and more importantly, the layoffs and studio closures that Microsoft has handed down over the course of the first half of 2024 here. Just even without all that, it was just a start to finish tremendous showcase full of huge games, great gameplay reveals. I mean, between Doom and Fable and Perfect Dark and Gears of War E-Day surprising us with that being a prequel, Call of Duty debuting on an Xbox stage for the first time since the 360 days, and that's launching into Game Pass. It was just all you can do is nitpick it. You can't actually really say anything bad about it.
Yeah. When that much of the IGN audience, which is traditionally very, very PlayStation leaning, is in agreement that Xbox had the better showcase, that Xbox was doing something right. Just to sort of compare these two shows by the numbers, the State of Play was 30 minutes and Xbox was 90 minutes. Now, obviously, longer doesn't mean better, but when your 90-minute show doesn't feel long, and you're not losing the audience's attention. You just keep reveal after reveal coming. It starts to paint a picture that there's just it starts to seem like Xbox has more going on than PlayStation does at the moment. Some numbers at the State of Play: they had 14 games. One of them was God of War Ragnarok coming to PC. So 13 upcoming new games. 4 of them are first-party games. 8 were console exclusives. The highlight, I think, was Astrobot, which looks great. Very excited to play that. Xbox Showcase, though, 30 games. 6 of them were updates on current games, live service games. So 24 new and upcoming games. 18 of them were first-party games. 13 were console exclusives. And their highlights include Gears of War E-Day, Doom: The Dark Ages, Fable, Perfect Dark, even third-party games like Metal Gear Solid Delta. So, Max, what's going on? What's going on with PlayStation? This is usually flipped. They're usually in different.
Dude, I don't know. I don't work there. I can't defend this. Like on Beyond, we talked about the summer showcase or the State of Play. We talked about the State of Play, and everyone in the comments got mad at us and was like, "It's going to be a showcase. It's not going to be a State of Play. Don't you dare try to undersell it like that." And then sure enough, Sony came around and announced it, and it was a State of Play, which is typically sort of how they kind of earmark it as being more of just a small scale update than a full on big E3 stage show type of thing. And yeah, I don't know. This is the kind of lowered expectations type of thing we've come to expect. I mean, Nintendo comes out and they're like, this direct is, we're not going to reveal this thing, or they try to get people to kind of keep their expectations in check. Even with that, even with the fact that this was a State of Play and not like a big, huge, knock the doors down, like PS5 reveal grade presentation, it was really just not that much to write home about. I think Astro's phenomenal. I think I don't know what's going on over at Sony because they haven't really shown their hand. Like I hope that 2025 is going to be totally stacked. It would be nice to get like some little teases or glimpses about that. That's one thing that Xbox definitely had going for them, is that they're looking further ahead and teasing some games that are a little bit further down the road. But even as far as sort of looking at the the next half a year, it wasn't I feel like I'm kind of in the dark. And ultimately, like Sony doesn't need to flex that hard because of how well the PS5 is selling. No matter what, they're going to come out on top, and people are going to be buying more. People are going to be buying GTA 6 on PS5. That's just a safe bet, and plenty of other third-party stuff is going to be adopted on PS5. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't come out and get people excited about their studios, what they have in the works. It's just it was kind of a drag. I was even kind of hoping that we were going to get a Metal Gear Solid Delta on Sony's stage because Snake has a long and storied history on PlayStation consoles. That would be nice, but yeah, we didn't. It was, I don't know, kind of a bummer. That said, Xbox is kicking ass. Just give them their flowers. They did a wonderful job up there. It was a really really cool show, and I just want to give a particular shout out to that gun in Doom that's like a paper shredder that shoots bone shards with skulls shooting out of it. That's one of the coolest things we've ever seen.
Yeah. That was awesome. Ryan, you talked about nitpicks of the Xbox showcase. I was a little bit surprised they showed both Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and Avowed, but stopped short of providing actual release dates for either one, although the Avowed release date might have accidentally slipped before they scrubbed that from the internet. Those are both planned for this year. It just seemed like that would be a good time to let us know exactly when. What do you think?
Yeah, agreed. I'm not sure what's holding them up. I mean, the best educated guess would be they're not 100% sure that they can hit the date that they have in mind. So better safe than sorry. If they don't give a date, it's better than giving a date and then having to push it. Even if it were only a week or two, it's still never a good look. To your point, Daemon, and to Max's as well, I actually made a list that we talked very much in depth about on Podcast Unlocked this week about what the next 18 months of Xbox looks like now. And so I'm going to read you a quick list, although it's not that quick, of exclusives and or games that are launching into Game Pass in the next 18 months. So you've got Flintlock Siege of Dawn going into Game Pass July 18th, Age of Mythology Retold September 4th, Stalker 2 September 6th, you've got Black Ops 6 on October 25th, launching into Game Pass there. No date yet, but sometime this fall is the Starfield Shattered Space DLC. Flight Simulator 2024 is November 19th. Probably preceded, as you just alluded to, Daemon, by Avowed, which the quick leak suggested that they're aiming for November 12th on that one. And then sometime before the year ends, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That is all exclusive and or Game Pass launches for this year. For next year, here's what we already know. Doom the Dark Ages, Fable, South of Midnight, Fragpunk, Winterborough, Clair Obscure Expedition 33 launching into Game Pass, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers launching into Game Pass, Mixtape launching into Game Pass, and Atomfall launching into Game Pass. And I guess since Doom the Dark Ages is coming to PS5, I should note that one as a Game Pass launch as well. So that's if you are playing on Xbox or PC and you're in the Game Pass ecosystem, you're looking at a pretty darn good next year and a half.
Yeah. And conversely, we just don't know. We don't have as clear an idea of what Sony has in store for PS5. We do, earlier this year, Helldivers 2, Max, huge hit. And at their State of Play, they unveiled Concord finally. That's going to be their next multiplayer-focused live service game launching into both PS5 and PC. But I don't know. I don't feel like that really, churned up much excitement for it. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of like we have Guardians of the Galaxy at home. It was sort of funny to see a almost MCU like tone flavored shooter, sort of an Overwatch like too, unveiled alongside Marvel Rivals, which is also a Marvel flavored Overwatch like. I mean, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. That's launching way sooner than I was expecting. Live service games are kind of they're a grind. They're an undertaking. And you got to kind of stay up to date with them. I hope this is cool when it comes out. I want to see what it's doing. But as far as immediate appeal, I think Helldivers was there was something a little bit more. I mean, first of all, the first Helldivers had an existing fan base, but Helldivers 2 was also something we've seen less of, I guess. it's not exactly a novel concept of having spacemen shooting bugs. We've been doing that since literally the invention of video games. But the way it was presented was like, hey man, it's Starship Troopers, get your pals together and go die repeatedly. In this case, it's like, this looks gorgeous. It's got a great sense of humor. I'm curious how they handle the narrative stuff, but I'm also like, oh, I'm not blown away. I saw one of the polls we put up on, I think around the time of the State of Play, and it was asking what people were excited about, or I think it was, are you grabbing Concord or what have you, and it was overwhelmingly not interested.
Mm-hmm. Sony did have another kind of big new game to show, although they didn't include it in their own State of Play. They shared it with Summer Game Fest, and that was Lego Horizon Adventures, which I don't know. It just seems like a little bit of a strange choice. A Lego game based in the Horizon universe, which those games are great, but they're not particularly goofy or silly like the Lego games are. So I don't know how they landed on that one.
Yeah, I think it was Matt Purslow at IGN put up a column about like, who is this for? Which is I feel like it's for Sony and Lego stockholders maybe. The charm of the Lego games, aside from the sense of humor, is running around and collecting recognizable characters, or like aside from Hot Dog Costume Guy, who's pretty cool. There's not really, like, I can't name that many Horizon characters, but comparatively, you look at something like Star Wars or DC or Marvel, and there's a pretty deep bench of little minifigs you can collect, and characters you want to see reinterpreted in Lego form. And like the Horizon, the dinosaur robots, they look awesome in Lego form. There's no denying that. I think they should make more Lego sets. But as far as this being like a Lego game to get people excited, I'm kind of whatever on it. If it was a PlayStation Lego sort of crossover, entirely like multiple universes, that would be cool. I would love to see, Bloodborne in Lego form, something like. I'd love to see Bloodborne literally anything. But obviously, a lot of the Sony games are M-rated, and Lego has a pretty hard rule about nothing R-rated or M-rated, and Horizon kind of squeaks under the radar there by being rated T for teen. On the other hand, Astrobot is kind of what I'm asking for. Like, we love the Astrobot game that launched with PS5. Astro has never really been given a fair shake. Like he's been sort of the mascot of Sony since the PS4 with that the demo that came with the camera for that, which I don't think that many people messed with. There was, I think, a demo with the PSVR 1, and then he got a dedicated game, Robot Rescue, which everyone who played it loved it. But again, considerably smaller install base for the PSVR than the base PS4. Everybody who messed with Astro's Playroom on PS5 has said nothing but good things about it. I don't know anybody who had a bad time with that. And admittedly, it's a free game, but it's also really cool to see that formula taken and expanded upon. And I'm looking forward to that a whole lot, way more than Horizon Lego.
Yeah, agreed. The Lego Horizon game is also coming to Switch, which I think is very interesting. It just seems to be the new state of things where growth is going to come from areas outside of their own platforms. Also bringing Helldivers 2 and Concord to PC players, and of course Xbox is now sharing their games with PlayStation and other platforms. So I think that's the new reality. Growth is going to have to come from outside of their home base. In any case, Ryan, Xbox and Xbox fans can enjoy their moment. They're definitely like they definitely stole the show at the sort of kickoff of Summer of Gaming, and like I said, it hasn't been since the Xbox 360 days that there seems like there's been this much excitement for what's going on in the Xbox ecosystem. So,
well earned.
Good times for them. Here's the poll from last episode. We were making predictions about all these summer events that are coming up. We wanted to know which of our predictions you thought were most possible, or I'm sorry, which one you were most excited about. Unfortunately, with 33%, the winning result was anything from Naughty Dog. Of course, we did not get anything from Naughty Dog. 21% wanted Wolverine details, and then 20% wanted Gears 6. So that one did come true. Not Gears 6, but Gears of War E-Day, a prequel. Yeah, and that's gonna be it. We have no new poll photo for next week. We were sharing the results of the polls that we put up earlier today, but Summer of Gaming is just sort of getting started. Lots of more fun events to come up over the next few months and lots of games to play. So it's exciting times ahead. Thank you to both Ryan and Max. Thank you to everyone working behind the scenes to make this episode possible. My name is Daemon. We'll be back next week with more of the latest gaming hardware news, and we'll see you then.